Makes the face. And he said, "You ought to live at our house. We put cream and sugar on ours." So let us align with that regenerative energy of spring by fortifying our awareness of the principles that are so incredibly supportive of planting our intentions and successfully producing a harvest of our desires. Okay, so that's what today is all about. It's a review for many of you. For some of you who are new, it might be something new. So the symbol, the science of mind symbol, is often taught with several words, but one of them that is so helpful is to use the principles of the gardener. And so, go Dan. Seed, soil, plant. Those three different sections of the science of mind symbol, which symbolizes the creative process. So the seed, of course, represents our thoughts, our dreams, our visions that fall, notice the thing going down in the center, that falls into the soil of universal mind, our subconscious mind. You could think of it that way too, the creative medium that surrounds us, builds us. And then that law of growth goes into action and produces the plant and all of the fruit that comes from the plant, the fruits of our desires. So that's it in the very simplest form. And so these principles of the gardener are so much fun to revisit. So I had a whole lot of fun revisiting them and thinking of new permutations of what all of that could mean for us to support us in reaping the harvest of our intentions. So the first part was acquiring high quality seeds. Visioning. I went, oh, visioning, and the light bulb went off. The visioning process is what that is all about. When we vision, we get into a very deep meditative state, a deep listening state within the heart, tapping into the inner wisdom, into that flow of universal mind that is the field of all possibilities. And we listen, we ask powerful questions like, what is God's highest idea of my life? And in the case of what we're going through right now in our family, what is the highest idea of the sale of Deer Haven, the sale of my sister's house, and the purchase of a home here in Delaware for my sister? So there's a lot going on right now. So what is the highest idea? So then catching the highest new mental equivalent of what that looks like, where there's ease and grace, where it's something that is beneficial for the buyers and the sellers, and that it is therefore a joyful experience and happens in divine perfect timing. So that's an example of catching a high quality seed. And there would be more details in there too, what the new house looks like, feels like, sounds like, which is more detailed. So acquiring high quality seeds through visioning. The next step then is cultivating the soil of the mind. And what does the gardener do? The gardener cultivates the soil by taking out the rocks and the weeds, getting those out of the way, so that there's nice, clear soil that can support the seeds. And of course, there's the fertilizer too, which we'll talk about in a minute. But getting that soil in really good shape so when the seeds are planted, they're going to flourish. They have plenty of room to spread out their roots and grow. So what does that equate to? The rocks and the weeds. Our false beliefs, our false limiting beliefs are the weeds. We can call them weedy beliefs. Weedy beliefs that get in the way. And beliefs that produce things like fear and doubt and worry. So we know that this is an issue because what happens is when we get into worry and fear and doubt is that it shuts down the creative process. We become very tense and tight, and so the energy of creation has a challenge moving through us and as us. And life situations present us with, let's say life presents us with situations that trigger us and let us know where the weedy beliefs are. And so one of the keys is to have a practice, a daily practice of sitting down in contemplation, in meditation, and observing. Remember, we've talked about being the observer and observing the sensations of the feelings that are being triggered, feel them fully, and being careful that we don't do a spiritual bypass. The spiritual bypass can come about really easily by jumping too quickly into things like, well, everything happens for a reason. It's all good. It's all unfolding. These are actually really good things. I'm not saying not to do them, but to hold off a bit until we have a chance to feel the feelings, because those feelings are valuable. They let us know and they lead us to the false belief that is operating under the surface, because the feeling just is not a result of what we think triggered it. The feeling is a result of the belief that we have about the situation. So this is really stepping into our power when we come to this realization. Oh, okay, so it's a belief. It's a belief that I can shift and get into more alignment with spiritual truth, so that when that situation happens, I come to it with a sense of empowerment and right action instead of fear and doubt and worry and anger and resentment and all of those other kinds of things. So challenging situations then become our opportunities to stop, feel, listen, and shift. And so it's not about fixing our feelings. That's the thing that's really important, because that's what spiritual bypass tends to do, or distracting ourselves with things. But actually utilizing those feelings, they become the fertilizer, the great fertilizer of our new things that we plant. We want to take advantage of those beautiful feelings that are available for us, even if they don't feel so good. So this is what our practitioners are skilled at doing. If you're finding a challenge, you find yourself continually repeating the same patterns, this is when it's really helpful to turn to a practitioner and ask for some support in uncovering the false belief and in transforming and transmuting it, coming up with a new affirmation to help transform it for good. Okay, sowing our intentions with gratitude. So now it's time to sow those intentions that we caught envisioning. And when we do that with a state of gratitude, we're modeling what the gardener does when they plant their seeds in the freshly cultivated soil, with a sense of joy and a sense of gratefulness for the opportunity to be one who provides food for others, the gardener, the farmer. So that sense of gratitude, of course, is that vibrational frequency in which abundance thrives. This is one of the key practices. If you want more abundance in your life, practice gratitude. It can be start off with 3, getting in the habit of writing down 3 things a day that you're grateful for. And then throughout the day, begin to look for the good in situations and give thanks for it. Have it be something that goes throughout the day as much as possible. Looking for the good, looking for things to be thankful for. And they can be little things like, oh, we have lights and heat in here today. I'm so grateful for that. And those who come often know what I'm talking about. So things to be grateful for this beloved community, all the beautiful people in this community that enrich our lives, support us, love us, see the good in us. Gratitude. The other thing that gratitude does is it sows the seeds of optimism. So we learn to move away from that pessimistic attitude and into a state of optimism. It's a place in which peace flourishes and love flourishes. Gratitude is an awesome thing. And that's why often we dedicate a whole entire month to it in November. Watering our intentions with unqualified faith. You know, Ernest Holmes talked about unqualified faith in that beautiful quote that Michelle just talked about. Unqualified faith. Wow. So faith that is present and strong despite the appearances. Virgie often says, I walk by sight and not by appearance. Right, Virgie? Not by sight, okay. I walk by faith and not by sight, yes. And that's the thing to remember, is that once we've planted our seed intentions, they are a spiritual prototype. They are being acted upon by universal law. And we keep them watered and healthy with unqualified faith. I walk by faith and not by sight. Let's say that together. I walk by faith and not by sight. Right. So the gardener, this is a great example of this. The gardener does not pull up the plant and to see if the roots are growing, or dig up the soil to see if the seed has started sprouting and doing roots. The gardener trusts, the gardener has unqualified faith that that seed is going to grow. And so we can learn a lot from the gardener. And just remember, those seed thoughts have everything within them to grow and to flourish. When Edwin Gaines was in seminary, and Edwin Gaines, for some of you who may not know, is a great prosperity teacher, one of the greatest of all times. She was in seminary that's quite a few years ago, and finances were very tight, and she and her daughter in particular, very rightfully, was getting quite upset by it, because they were pretty close to starving. They had very little that was going, and she was in seminary, and so Edwin Gaines told her daughter to have faith that God is going to provide. And so Edwin had these long, heartfelt talks with God. Like, I'm doing everything. I'm practicing the principles. I'm doing everything I was told. I'm going to seminary to be a minister. She was becoming a unity minister. I've done everything you've asked. So I am trusting. I'm trusting you to provide. I'm trusting God to provide. So the next day, she got a phone call from the local grocery store that said, you just won a $100 grocery certificate in the contest that we had. And Edwin was like so excited. She ran to her daughter and she said, listen to what happened. And she told her, and her daughter put her hands on her hips and looked exasperated and said, great nothing. I spent all day long filling out at least 100 of those entry forms. To which Edwin Gaines responded, God has amazing ways of blessing us. Isn't that wonderful? But anyway, the point is that yes, there's what we call treat and move your feet. She treated, she prayed, and her daughter moved her feet. And the bottom line is that, the manifestation did take place. So let's review again what we're talking about. Acquiring seed intentions with visioning, cultivating the mind with daily meditation to compassionately observe our emotional reactions and the weedy core beliefs beneath them, removing them with tools like spiritual mind treatment, affirmations, and then planting intentions with gratitude and watering them with unqualified faith. Like Edwin Gaines, then what we do is the faith requires us to let go, let God, listen for guidance on what is ours to do, and know that the harvest, the bountiful harvest, is ours right here, right now. I mean, that's it. It's right now, right here, right now thinking. So let's turn within in prayer. I'm so happy and grateful for this opportunity to speak this word which I know is the word of God flowing through me and as me and into vital and vibrant expression. I know that creative potential and possibility that is available to me is available to each and every person in this room and each and every person that joins us online. We are the gardeners of our minds. And so knowing that we have the power and the ability and the wisdom to catch those higher ideas, those new mental equivalents for our lives, for various aspects of our lives. I know that we have the ability to become the compassionate observer of our emotions. We have the ability to honor those emotions and let them be felt and guide us to faulty beliefs. We have the power to disconnect and reclaim our power from those beliefs that aren't serving us and to instead reclaim who we are in truth and cultivate that beautiful soil of our minds. We have the power to call forth an attitude of gratitude in which we plant the new seeds, and we have the unqualified faith of God to water those seed thoughts, those intentions with love and faith and trust. And then we get to witness the amazing harvest, the fruit of the harvest as the desired experiences of our lives. And so I know that as the gardeners of our thoughts, the gardeners of our minds, we are triumphant. We are triumphant because of who we are, individualizations of God, the beloved children of the Most High, in whom God is well pleased. And so it is with a heart full of joy and gratitude that I release this word to the action of universal law in full faith and trust that it is done, and I invite us to accept it with a powerful yes! And so it is. Thank you.